right now, you'd have to be a darn fool to hire Kavanaugh to be your lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because any lawyer would have written something like, I sympathize with Dr. Ford. I deny any of that. But I believe her trauma is real and genuine. You could do that. You could be both sympathetic without committing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't do that. He went
Right.
on about the Clintons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cast aspersions on the Me Too movement. I don't know what. I don't know. And certainly, no doubt that if he were confirmed, if he remains on the federal bench
Mm-hmm.
as a federal judge, any decision he makes regarding as a political connection is going to be, I guess the word would be not legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
That it's impossible to believe this man can make a objective decision about any topic which is politically related.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
I think, and people are saying they're going to, ask for his recusal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he will recuse himself. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe now we should switch over to some of the collection topics.
Right.
Because, as you know, how long have we been talking, by the way? Are we about quarter?
Hang on.
Halfway through?
Let's see. We have another half hour.
Okay, good. We're about halfway through. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, everybody. We don't do these things in a regular radio studio where we've got a clock on the wall.
Right.
So, actually, I have a clock on the wall. Okay, so I want to say that, as you know, as I announced before, I'm running, and Marcus Ruiz Evans are running for higher office, for statewide office, lieutenant governor for myself, governor for him in 2022. Part of our feelings are, and we want people to vote for us if they agree with us and support our campaigns, is that the United States government is simply not legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
And the United States Supreme Court, if it becomes this political arm or department of the National Republican Party, then it's illegitimate, and its decisions should not be given validity. And if we have to choose between preserving our democracy and our values and following the United States Supreme Court decision, my answer would be we're going to hold up to our values, and we're going to let the chips fall where they may.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know there's no precedent for defying United States Supreme Court decisions other than the civil rights movement and, of course, decisions in favor of the U.S. the civil rights movement.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the George Wallace, Governor Faubus standing in the schoolhouse doorway. There's that, and then of course there's the decision by President Jackson to refuse to enforce the decisions in favor of the Cherokee Indians in 1838, and that led to the Trail of Tears.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of that, the facts are our values are enough to fight for.
Yes, absolutely.
And we are a nation of 39 million people. We don't deserve to be pushed around. And I think it's high time we feel our oats, as they say.
Yeah.
So, again,
it's time we do
because
more than
in
that.
this case, it's, think about it. If you get, I'm going to write soon about the topic. Right now, everyone's talking about Kavanaugh, which, the National Abortion Rights Action League and Planned Parenthood, and they should. saying that if Kavanaugh gets on, he'll be the critical fifth vote to abolish or reverse or overrule Roe versus Wade. But Roe versus Wade is not an extreme case, remember. It's a compromise decision.
Right.
It says that only in the first trimester do women have an absolute right to access to abortion, and that's been repealed even further because now we have the undue obstacle, something like that, right? Undue burden. And other language that's been stuck in there by the Supreme Court. So it's not even an absolute right anymore. And then states having an absolute right to ban abortion in the third trimester, and then second trimester, it's sort of 50-50. And that's a compromise decision. I mean, I'm of the opinion, and I'm putting this on the record, that I think the proper decision was by William O. Douglas, who said that abortion is a personal right, and even under the Ninth Amendment of the United States Constitution, states cannot prohibit it.
Right.
Just the same way as the government cannot just start, the only reason why the government can be able to take a blood, for instance, take a test of your blood there, is if you had to be driving a car, they suspect you've been drinking, and you've already had a driver's license.
Right.
Okay, you get permission to go there, fine. But can they just randomly start selecting people and start taking blood samples? No. It's considered an invasive intrusion in your body.
Right. In fact, I was a little offended today when someone taking my order for a prescription refill asked me something about when I had my last period, so I told him I didn't remember. And I was thinking about telling him, something like, it's none of your damn business, because I don't see what it has, that it had anything to do with my prescription refill.
Well, it actually probably did, only because, remember, a lot of medications are either not tested on pregnant women, or they're, they're not tested on pregnant women, or in fact, they have a contraindication for pregnancy.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's your pharmacist actually trying to, but there you go. That's your pharmacist trying to protect your health and maintain your life.
Right.
That's a whole lot different than having some moral, opprobrium about you and whether or not, you're giving it away.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you're swinging like a barroom door.
Yeah,
okay.
Got it.
They're not interested in that, nor should they be.
Right.
That's not what the pharmacist should be doing, and that's not what they should be entitled to do. And if they don't like that, if they feel that's an undue restriction on their moral values or something, get into a different business. That's my attitude, my answer to those folks.
Right.
You're in the wrong business, partner.
Exactly. And I think the same way actually about clerks in city halls, city courts, when they're supposed to be giving marriage licenses, and they will only give marriage licenses to people whose religious observances match their own. It's this thing about same-sex marriage. If you're not going to simply do your damn job, then go get a different job.
Exactly. I mean, again, speaking as a lawyer, I can tell you that more than once, lawyers are in situations where, let's say you have a client who comes there and tells you how they kidnapped a little boy several years ago, and brutally murdered them after sexually assaulting them. And now you're totally morally outraged at this human being, right? You know what your response is to that, right?
Well, I know what
you can continue to respond. You can choose to continue to cease representing them, but you cannot go to the police about that.
Really?
Oh no, absolutely not. That is absolutely. You have to keep your mouth shut.
Wow.
Because now, if he says, "I like to kill little boys," and I like to kidnap little children, and I'm going to kidnap that little children right there. That's the difference. Okay? But merely saying I did it before, okay, and there's absolutely nothing I do to prevent it, no, you don't turn that person in. And if you're not willing to take that kind of an oath, don't be a lawyer. It's that simple. Sometimes, so anyways, being a lawyer means you have to make decisions. You have a higher loyalty.
Right.
You have a loyalty to your profession.
Right.
It's not just I do whatever I feel is right.
Exactly.
I can assure you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
I even remember reading an interview of a defense attorney, prominent criminal defense attorney, and he basically said, yeah, there's clients who I've told them after we left the courthouse and I got them off, stay with my children.
Wow.
Yeah.
And doctors,
they weren't really joking about it. He knew this person was a vile human being.
Yeah. And doctors
and I must say, I've never actually been a criminal defense attorney. Well, maybe once.
Right.
But and it was a very minor case. But if I ever had to do anything like that, I would really not want to know this person telling me that they're guilty or not.
Right. Well,
okay,
doctors,
I got to preserve some sense of reasonable doubt in my head.
Right.
And I would just want to know if the evidence supports the finding of guilty or not.
Now, folks,
so anyways, we back around to it. We're talking about. So that's why.
I want to mention
the Supreme Court. I think it's really a really extreme example.
Hannah,
we need to have a conversation. I think, Sue. Meaning we in the state of California.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
We need to have a large conversation about how far is too far. How far are we going to be pushed?
We've passed that point, Hannah, and people just need to stand up and say it. They need to realize that the United States is treating us very much like a negligent doctor. If a doctor treated you the way the United States is treating California, that doctor would lose his license. And
that's a bit rhetorical. But I'm talking about.
Why are we allowing this?
We've got. Obviously, the families are being divided because of immigration. Because of Trump immigration policies.
Right.
We've got immigrants. Children of immigrants, family relatives of immigrants, documented or undocumented, who literally are afraid to go to the police, afraid to pick up the children from school, and we've never had such a, I guess I'd say, vigilance. Immigration has always focused on finding actual criminals, not just you're a criminal because you're in this country without status, to use the technical term, but you've actually have committed crimes, and so and that of course is what most Californians think. Ask yourself when you go to a restaurant or a grocery store, it's owned by Mexicans or Arabs or Koreans or Chinese or whoever. Are these people documented? How many of them are documented? How many are undocumented? And the answer would, of course, be, I don't know and I don't care. Unless you're one of those people who feels really strongly, like the four Californians who apparently are about to get arrested for participating in the fatal riot in Charlottesville, Virginia. But assuming you're not one of those people, the vast majority of us, and it's true, polls show it, that the vast majority of Californians have this attitude of very much, hey, if you're not causing trouble, and let's face it, this whole idea of, immigrants are coming over the border to take our jobs. No, they're not. The jobs they're taking are, like I talked about, usually in their own families' businesses. So, I'm saying to these people, these